What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we finally have a Super Boss video for you guys up against the brand new ALBER 15-star Super Boss. So I've got two separate teams against each variation, and the teams you're seeing in this video are not exactly the same teams that I showed off in my preparation video. This first team though was one of the teams that I did show off, and I did make a little bit of a mistake. As you can see, that Ace doesn't have his special or his switch effect. He will eventually get his special, but the fact that the switch effect isn't there means that we won't be able to get a chain boundary on that final stage, which is kind of like the reason why I wanted to bring this unit in the first place, a unit that could give chain boundary and also give an orb boost. So that does kind of suck, but this is like for people that maybe have only just pulled Zoro Sanji and they don't have any other characters from the New Year's batch. This is a really decent team that you can go ahead and build. Now, ideally, use a higher leveled friend captain so you can get like the better final tap and stuff. I'm actually not 100% sure if the final tap can even trigger with this team, because the really harsh conditions on Yamato are really bad for getting her to activate that effect for her final tap. But you do see here that we're using the Roger special to wave clear all of the characters here on stage number 2. We are using the Zoro and Sanji special here as well, just to give us more damage, and the Kinemon special, which can extend the duration of the color affinity and also the attack boost that we've inflicted to ourselves on stage 2. So we don't have an orb boost for the final stage at this current point in time, but this is why we brought, you know, the Luffy and Ace character. Now we do have Whitebeard with the Whitey base support attached, which will completely remove the barrier on the enemy side of the field. What they really want you to do though is to use the Rush Sugo special of Roger and Odin to do a bunch of taps over and over again, and that will eventually break the barrier on ALBER himself. So that's the way that they want you to get around it, but of course you can remove the barrier if you do wish to do that. But I don't really think it's like the most ideal way to actually get through this content, but it is a way that you can get through it. This team like is not too bad, of course. It's not going to be one of those high-end teams that a lot of the high-end alliances are ever going to use, because it doesn't really get access to like good super tandems unless if you have the investments on your characters, of course. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a team that can get the job done, even though you may not have gotten super lucky on the New Year's Sugo Fest. Yes, it does use Zoro Sanji, but of course Zoro Sanji are a really clutch unit for this quest due to the resistance on the enemy side of the field. Moving on to the secondary team, this is if you have a lot of these New Year characters, and we do have Momonosuke from the December Sugo Fest here as well. Now, this original team creator is Itachi89. I'll leave a link to his channel down below in the description and in the comments. And yeah, this team's really powerful. It does a lot of damage utilizing the really cool components of you know, using the special of Yamato on stage 2, and because she's in her dual form, while she's in that form, anytime a slasher or a striker uses a special, it reduces her cooldown by 3 turns, I think it is. And then of course when you reach the final stage, it reduces her cooldown again with her captain ability. So you can actually get Yamato's special back after using it on stage 2, and they really want you to do this not only for the strength fight but also for the quick fight, and we'll see that in a little bit in this video. But with this, we are using a friend captain of Roger and Odin with level 5 Rush Sugo special. This gives us huge damage and enables us to get around the barrier without having to bring a barrier removal effect. We do extend the duration of the attack and the color affinity boost due to the intimidate that occurs on the final stage, which reduces the amount of turns of your buffs, which is really frustrating. And of course, when we use Roger Odin special, our second Roger Odin special on the final stage, because we've dealt 10 million damage or more throughout the duration of the quest so far, the orb boost that we get is actually going to last for 3 turns, which is awesome. And of course, Zoro Sanji with all of their positive buffs, we can use Yamato again, and with all of these buffs combined, we can get like Super Tandem, Rush Sugo Special, and then Final Tap as well with Yamato. So you can get the full combination, and if you do have everything with max investments, obviously you're going to be able to do crazy damage, but basically no one is going to have that. So it is what it is. If you're lucky enough to have all of the investments on the characters, that's a huge positive. But this is like the team that they kind of want you to use in this content. And yes, it works really well, but without those high investments, it's kind of like mediocre. It still does really good damage either way. You'll still be able to do, you know, a few billion here or there. But you know, if you have all those full investments, and especially as long as you're using like a friend captain as well, the friend captain with the max investment is already a huge plus. So if you're able to find that, it's going to make a huge difference with this team. So now we get to have a look at the next team super boss, which is versus the quick variation. This time I am using 6+ lore. I was able to get the final skull in KIZUNA today, and I wanted to go ahead and use him as a captain and just see what he's capable of doing. And this team actually did pretty well. Once again, we are using a maxed friend captain, which will add a lot of additional damage to this team. And we are using Zoro Sanji on the team as well because they're just so good, man. They're just so good. Now, we are using Robin as well. Because of the paralysis on the final stage, we have the Bato support attached to Robin, which removes 3 turns. We also have the super type of Law, which removes 3 turns. So, you know, that combo works really, really well. And because of Robin and double stacking conditional boost, I wanted to add another conditional boost to the team. And unfortunately, we couldn't add like Enma Zoro because we're using Zoro and Sanji as a sub here, which is a bit of an issue. So I opted to go with the Black Maria and Ulti just because we can get a guaranteed delayed conditional with them. Because as long as you have a cerebral captain, you can get that, which is awesome. You do see we switch here on stage 2, but we don't use the special of Zoro and Sanji. We just want the tandem slots to break through, because you're not allowed to activate an orb boost for the rest of the duration of this quest due to the immunity buff on your team. So that's really annoying. So unless if there's a way to somehow, you know, generate an orb boost from stage 1, carry it all the way through to the boss stage, and then also resist the removal of your beneficial effects when you reach the last stage, that's the only way you're going to be able to do that. So I don't know if that's going to be a viable option moving forward. We'll have to see. But of course, we have to use the specials in the right order as well, because if you use Black Maria and Ulti first, you will actually get an attack boost from Black Maria and Ulti, which is not what you want. You definitely want Laws first. And the fact that when you use Law special, it'll also inflict increased damage taken. And then when you use Yamato special, it will actually go ahead and buff the increased damage taken to become 2.25, I believe it is. Like, that's crazy, the fact that you can do that and get huge color affinity from Yamato. So that works really well. Zoro Sanji for all of their buffs, of course, and then the double stacking conditional boost with Robin and Ulti. Now, we needed a character to ensure that the final tap from Yamato would actually work, so we do have the tandem Luffy. He's just kind of here because he can generate a full board of slots for us. Obviously, we can't get the orb boost from him, which is a bit of a problem. But we can also use his super tandem, which I have a better investment in my super tandem Luffy compared to my Zoro Sanji. So that's the reason why we use their super tandem. And we get big damage from that. So despite the fact we don't have an orb boost, this team can still do crazy damage, which is the cool thing. So if there was a way to somehow put an orb boost on here, that'd be cool, but I just don't think it's a viable option unless if you really go out of your way and build a team specifically catered to do something such as that. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not that's going to be an actual thing that you can do. But of course, if there is a better team that comes out for this KIZUNA that can somehow apply that orb boost and everything else, then that's going to be a really cool team. But we'll have to wait and see if anyone's smart enough to come up with that. And then moving on to the final super boss team that I have for you guys against the quick variation is going to be the team that I showed off in my preparation video. This one is still using double stacking conditional boosts, but instead of using Zora Sanji as a sub, we're going to use Zora Sanji as a friend captain, and we're going to use our own Yamato. So, you know, if you got Zora Sanji, you can use the other team. If you got Yamato only, you can use this team instead. And we have the Rush Sugo Sanji as well, who, I mean, we can just get free damage from that. We get the super tandem in this team as well, where you can also generate the final tap. So this team can generate all three of those potential ability buffs on attack, which is really nice. And we are also using Buggy and Shanks because they give a really substantial color affinity boost. Also, them being slashers means that, you know, they're going to get the buffs from the rest of the crew, and the fact that when we use the special ability of Shanks and Buggy, we can still get the cooldown reduction on Yamato. So that's really, really cool that we can activate all of these buffs the way that they are. And the thing about this one as well is that in the initial infographic, it did mention that the Intimidate on this fight would remove turns of attack and conditional boosts. However, what we have found out is that it doesn't remove -1 turns. It removes -1 multiplier. So if you apply like a 2x boost, it actually becomes a 1x boost. So it doesn't actually give you a boost at all. So that's really going to significantly nerf the amount of damage that you're able to do in this quest. And especially with the fact that they disable orb boosts from being activated in this quest, they just severely nerf the amount of damage that you're capable of doing in this quest. That's very, very annoying, but you know, it is what it is. It's still really cool that we're able to use Rush Sugo special, double stacking conditional boosts, super tandem. It's a decent team. It does pretty okay damage, honestly, but because of all of the gimmicks in this quest, they just are basically trying to shoehorn you into having max investments of Roger, Odin, Yamato, Zora Sanji, activate Rush, final tap, and super tandem with max investments. That's the way that they want you to get your damage, rather than typical specials that will provide you all of the damage increasing effects. So it's kind of a frustrating super boss, but you know, you got to work together with your team to get the job done. That is going to wrap it up for me though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.
この戦いは我の国の20年を背負ってるんだ。しない。 変なんだ。眉毛が